Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a modern KFC for all of your city building needs. I've tried to make this build quite realistic, so I'm going to give you a little tour before we begin. I hope that's okay. We of course have a drive-thru, a pretty decent sized car park, we have a customer eating area, and a customer opposite eating area. Reverse eating. This is where they poop. This is where one would order food. We have a food warming and drinks machine area. This is the opposite side of the drive-thru. And finally, this is the kitchen, leading out to the trash cans, which is where I belong. Self-deprecation. And remember, if you enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button. But that's pretty much it. Let's get started. Here is the amount of space required to make your modern KFC, a 42 by 25 block area as represented by the white concrete grid on the ground, which I would always urge you to make if you are planning out your world. Here are all of the materials that we will be using throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. And now that we have all of our stuff, we can get started. Step 1, if you have made the grid, come all the way to the front left hand corner of it. Count to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, and then inwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From this block, place 5 grey concrete going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend forwards by 2. 1, 2. Extend right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Backwards by 2. 1, 2. I want you to leave a gap in the ground or destroy 2 blocks in the ground. And then on the right of this, place 13 grey concrete going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I then want you to extend that 13th block backwards by another 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. To which we then want to extend across the back of the build by 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Extend forwards or towards you really by 2. 1, 2. Extend to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inwards by 2. 1, 2. And then extend right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can connect back to where we first started. So, this should look exactly like this. Perfect. So, now that we have created this shape, we can start to refine it a little bit more. So, I think that we're going to start with the part that sticks out, and I want you to grab your red concrete for this. The 2 outward corners of this part that sticks out, I want you to place 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red concretes on top of the outward corners of this part of the build. On the right side, I want you to add an additional row of 6 on the inside, and then 2 black concretes, 1, 2, and 1, 2 on the left and right in this position. You can even add a little bit of black stained glass paint to the inside of one of those rows. Fill above and inside the 2 parallel rows of red concrete together, so just fill all of this in. We now want to extend the top of this backwards and join it down to the back part of the build. So you can extend the top across as well, and we can join it into a nice big rectangular-ish shape. We're going to fill the back of the shape in. So this is going to be filled in using red concrete. Just like this. We also want to fill these sides in to an extent. So we want to add red concrete where we have the rows of grey concrete to support it. So we don't just want to connect it together front to back, just, straight away. We want to fill on top and in between where we have the grey concrete like this. We can also safely add a couple of rows of red, and when I say a couple, I do mean just 2. It might be a mistake to add 2 actually, but I think that we should be fine. Underneath the rows of red concrete that are extended backwards like this. So, filling the top of this in, we're simply just going to fill the top of the shape in using smooth stone. So that is going to be 1 row below the top. We're just going to fill the red part of this structure in using the smooth stone. So, there we go. Perfect. Now that we have done that, we should maybe consider what we're going to do for the rest of the build. So, we're going to come to the larger part first, and we want to take the front corner and the back corner, and we want to raise it up by 4 using smooth quartz block. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, here, we want to, not here, there's hair in my food, I want a replacement. So here, we want to join these rows of quartz together using a row of quartz stairs. And then we want to extend the rows of quartz stairs across, and we want to join it to the red part of the build as well. So we want to create this really nice shape here using these stairs and the smooth quartz. Now, it's not quite ready because if we then add some smooth quartz slabs on top of this, it will look perfect. It will give us a really nice modern look, and it turns like a blank wall. It turns a bland wall into something that's just a little bit more interesting. One could say that they add 13 seasons / spices to it. So now that we have done this, we have to kind of like mark out some windows. So to the right of where the doorway is, we're going to have a double wide row of quartz that just separates the door from the windows. So we're also going to leave a gap of 2, and then we want another double wide row of quartz, and then we want to leave another double row, and then we want to have a double row of quartz. So we just want to have something which should look like this. In the end slot here, I want to add 2 rows of red concrete. Actually, as a matter of fact, we want to have 2 rows of 2 to make it a square, and then we are going to encroach on this space just to the left a little bit, and we're going to add some red concrete in here to have a 2 by 3 rectangle. We're going to fill underneath this in using smooth quartz, and then we're going to have red concrete underneath the top of the horizontal row of quartz, so just underneath the stairs like this. Where we have the doorway, I want to use black glass block just underneath the red, and then everywhere else for the other windows, I'm making it sound like there's loads and loads of windows on the front. There's not that many. We just want to have glass pane. So I guess we can now whip onto the side, and basically the side, we just want to separate all of the windows with a double wide row of quartz. So it's easier shown really than said, but if you just add a row of quartz on the left and right and then just leave a gap of 2, then you'll kind of get the perfect pattern for the windows. And the windows are so simple that you can just place some red concrete at the top and then fill in the remaining window area using some black glass pane. So that should look just fine like this. Okay, so moving on to the back of the build now. This is a little bit easier because we are just going to make the back of the build blank. This is for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're going to have a wall back here, so you're not going to see much detail at all anyway. And on top of that, I want like a seating bench. And if I have windows, it kind of messes that up a little bit. And on top of that, you'd just be staring at a brick wall anyway, or a red concrete brick wall. But regardless, add them in if you like. You can make them parallel to the windows on the front if you do see fit. As we come across to the opposite side of the build here, we kind of want to start off in the same way that we want to take the end corners of this side of the build. We want to raise them up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 using the smooth quartz, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we want to add these stairs. This will connect not only to the other smooth quartz, but it will also connect to the red concrete area as well. These stairs want to be placed regularly. We then want to place smooth quartz slabs on top of all of this, and honestly, I just find this effect so satisfying. I love how it looks. Hopefully you guys share my enthusiasm. So the next thing that we're going to do is, on the front, add an additional row of quartz here. We're going to add red concrete, and then we're just going to fill this in. So that's all there is to it. So just a nice little side window, kind of how we have everywhere else. We're not having side windows on the left and back. As I already mentioned, the back is rather bland, but giant brick wall, so it doesn't even matter. But on this side, something that I should actually consider is on the left side of the build here, there is actually an employee access door. It's right the way up at the back, so it's like here, and it's just going to be just a double wide oak door. You could even have a singular door if you wanted to, but for some reason we're kind of going with twos in this build, you know, with all of the windows and stuff, so we're kind of just going to leave it as is. So now that we have done that, I think that we're going to add the wall that I keep talking about. So the wall, very, very simple to add. It starts all the way over here on this left side, and it's made out of red concrete. We're going to stick it directly onto the outer boundary of the white concrete. It's going to extend across like this, and then I think that we're going to make it come in a little bit. Like, I'm not sure whether to like leave some empty space kind of like around here, right? So I mean, in the original, like the wall kind of like hugs the like the back part of the build, and then it springs back out again, and then it just comes along the outer edge. So the end result of which, it will look a little bit like this, and I like the fact that it's a little bit more form-fitting. Like, it's not just a rectangular, it's not just like just a normal shape. I know that it's such a minor thing, but if you wanted to, you could fill this in with hedge, or it could be like a walk around. Like, it depends where you're going to be placing this as well at the end of the day. But we also need to fill the roof in now that we've kind of added that wall. And by the way, I did want some parts of the wall. Like, for instance, I want the right side part of the wall. So this part of the wall here, I want this to be double high, so I want 2 rows of red concrete. Again, it kind of renders windows here a little bit obsolete, and I want the wall to stop being double high when we get to this left side, so that's as far as I want it to go. I want the roof to be made out of smooth stone. Don't know why, just feeling it. And it's basically, it's wherever the stairs are on the outside, which is essentially like half a row below the roof line, that is where the smooth stone is going to go. And that's all there is to it. I mean, I don't know whether to add an additional row. Okay, so you can see that we're adding this now. I don't know whether to lower the ceiling an additional row inside of where we have like the red part of the structure, or whether to leave it. I don't know whether it's going to become a problem. Alternatively, I guess we could circumvent that. I don't think there'll be a problem if we do add an additional row underneath it right now, but maybe that's what we have to do, kind of just smooth things out a little bit. Or do we just leave it? Okay, guys, we're going to leave it, and if it becomes a problem, we'll just fill it in a little bit later. It's no big deal. We can just grab the material. So now that we've done this, another thing that I want to do above the drive-through window, it's funny how you remember things, I just want to add a row of smooth quartz slab just across the top of the drive-through window like this. We have a lot of, there's actually a pathway as well. So there is a double wide pathway that leads you from the entrance to KFC, the actual main entrance, and it just wraps around the side here, and it just comes all the way to the back, and it's just allow people that park up, just allows them to get out of their car and just walk around a path without having to fight the drive-through the drive-through queue, basically. So we're just going to fill all of this in with smooth stone. I've tried to change the layout of this a little bit. Like, I've tried to go with a bit more of an unusual layout, and hopefully you guys like it. So on the side of the build as well, I'm just going to add, Yeah, I think that we're just going to fill the entire side part of this building here using smooth stone. I don't think that we're going to add any more to the front, but like I want this chunk of the side here. I think I just want it smooth stone, and then we'll... Well, I mean, we could extend it like 2 rows forwards here because this won't interfere with the actual like drive-through at all. So we can just have this. And I think that that'll be just fine, and you can see that there's a little gap there. I want to have a row of 3, so 1, 2, 3. I basically want a little road, essentially, just in front of our KFC, and it's 3 rows wide, just to facilitate the movement of cars. So that sounds silly because, of course, you know, Minecraft doesn't have cars, but the typical width for a car that I make is 3 rows wide. So we would be able to, and you may even see in the thumbnail of the video, that a car can just like sit nicely in front. I'm trying to decorate my own city, Stream City. Feel free to check it out live sometimes. Or check out the playlist. Stream City, I'm trying to make it look a little bit more organic, a little bit more alive. So by doing... Oh, and by the way, on the left and right side, we want to also... we want to extend the row of 3 grey concrete out onto the street or wherever it is that you have, you know, you've built your KFC. So I'm joining mine to the road. You might also be joining yours to the road, but equally so, you know, it might be somewhere else, you know. I might make this just a little bit wider as well. Like I might turn this 3 into a row of 4 because it's not a big deal to do that whatsoever. And then that way, I can have a hedge in front of this path. I don't have to encroach onto the path. And I can have a double row wide of smooth stone. So, yeah, since this is specifically kind of like geared up to be a drive-through, like if you are going to place this in your city, it would be better. Really, you're going to want to connect this to a road. Like you could just remove the drive-through window entirely, but connecting it to a road is a bit more like intended for purpose, if you know what I mean. So there we go. That's looking pretty good. We'll decorate this in a little second as well. Oh, we can also add some... We can use smooth quartz for this, but white concrete I like better. We can add just a couple of lines here of quartz. It's actually a bit more vibrant, so I don't mind. And this is kind of just a zebra crossing, so a car would have to like wait for you to cross and get in, so that looks a little bit better. On the side of the build, I want to add some car parking spaces. So I'm going to need I'm going to need just a couple more different materials. I'm going to need yellow concrete, oak leaves, and I'm also going to need yellow carpet along with the grey concrete and the smooth quartz block. So now that we've kind of like figured out a pathway here, lining up with the corner of KFC, I want to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dug out and replaced with quartz. Leave a gap of 3 and then another row of 6. A gap of 3 and then another row of 6. And then a gap of 3 and then we're going to have another row of 6 here. Just like this. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And then we can kind of like add a little bit of yellow concrete. So here, just on the sides, this it's kind of just to give people who have a little bit more of a difficult time, or to have like either this can be like sort of like a disabled bay for people that have like trouble getting in and out of their car, or you could imagine it to be somewhere that one might leave a motorbike or something similar to that. So we've got our rows of 3 here, like this, and then we've got an additional row of 3, or alternatively we can also have the same thing on the end here. So instead of having the white line, I think I like that a little bit better. So yeah, I like that a little bit better. I think that looks a little bit cleaner. I want to add yellow carpet to the ends of the bays, just like this. But then does that, or alternate, I mean, we do have an alternate plan, which could simply be to add a wide bay in the middle, like this, right? So this would be a wide bay, and then we could... Why do I go into so much detail when it comes to stupid car parks? And then on the end here, we can still have the white line, which might be... I mean, you know, it's up to you, like, if you wanted to add... However you want to customize it. I suppose that this is a kind of like a up to you moment, really. But anyway, we're going to dig in between all of these car park bays. And then just behind them, it's still maintaining a row of 3, by the way, so it makes logical sense. I know that this is Minecraft. I know that it doesn't have to make sense. Like, we could just... I mean, this could be built in the sky if we wanted to. You know, this could be like a special helicopter KFC that only pilots are able to get to. But, you know, I like to make things make logical sense. So, like, as you're walking around, like, it's not jarring to be like, oh, that's weird. Like, how would you even get to that car? You know what I mean? So, it's... That's kind of like what we're going along with here. Like, you can get in all the car parking spaces. We have the zebra crossings. You know, we've kind of got like the disabled spots and such. So we're going to have some oak leaves as well. So oak leaves, I'm thinking about planting them in the ground next to kind of like this spot here, and then a row of oak leaves kind of like leading to the entrance. Now what that does is it helps to further, because it's such a stark contrast of concrete to leaves, it kind of helps to separate things a little bit, even more so than they did already. And then on the left side here, I like the idea of having leaves. We'll place some flowers. And then at the back of the build, also, same thing. So we can have leaves, and then we can place flowers in there too. We're rapidly approaching the point where we have almost done the outside portion of this build. So what we're going to do now is we are going to make... Okay, this isn't so bad to make the signs because it's only 3 letters, so we're going to grab the loom red banners white dye. We'll also need light grey concrete, oddly enough, and smooth quartz slabs. So let's get the dreaded sign done. So loom, open it, first red banner in there, all the white dye, vertical row of white on the left. Grab it, throw it back in, and then both of the diagonal rows will make our K. Perfect. That's K. We have to make F. Starts off the same way. Vertical row of white on the left. And then horizontal row across the top. And through the middle. F. Oddly enough, C is also started in the same way, in which we have a vertical row of the left. Horizontal across the top. Horizontal across the bottom. Boom. KFC. Or CKF, I guess. Yeah, CKF, I guess. Cool koala food. I don't know. So, we're going to place this in a couple of different places. So, where we have this row of 2x3 here, so we're going to have KFC. We're also going to have it, I'm considering, where did I place this? To the right side of the drive-through window. You'll see that it doesn't center with the window, but it's kind of okay that it doesn't, because it does center with the rest of the red part. And then we're going to make a sign on the left side of the build. So we're going to basically just have anywhere along here, I would choose about 3 rows in here. I'm going to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light grey concrete. And then, oh, we need red concrete, of course, my bad. And we're going to place red concrete in front of the top 2 rows, extend out on the left and right, smooth quartz slabs underneath, on top, and then K, F, C. Perfect. So, what we will end up with is a highly branded KFC. So, hopefully, no mistaking that this is cool koala food. So, now that we have done this, do we have some flowers on? We don't have flowers on us. I'll tell you what, we're actually missing 3 materials that will be quite handy, that I'm sure will probably, hopefully, appear in the item list. One of those is oak trapdoors. Second of those is green concrete. And the third of which is the material that I almost forgot about, but then it came right back into my mind, flowers. So azure bluettes, because I'm obsessed. So the azure bluettes are going to be placed pretty much on any grassland that we haven't covered already. Don't look too hard, because there isn't too much of it. So here and here, I'm not filling in that back portion with anything. So basically just in front of the left side and behind the left side. Funnily enough, also, the green concrete here is to make 2 bins, dumpsters, one might say. So, row of 2 green concrete, gap, 2 green concrete, oak trapdoors on top. They look like bins. Garbage cans, whatever. Double upon them if you like. It doesn't matter. It's just to look like bins, dumpsters, whatever you want to call them. Place where you throw rubbish, trash. Who cares? That's what those are. So that is what the outside of your KFC will look like. So very, very happy with this so far. But what do we do now? So we're actually going to move inside, and we are going to use... We're just going to start... Now that we have too many materials, by the way, things are annoying a little bit. We're a little bit clogged up, but... We need the quartz bricks, we need red concrete, we need smooth quartz stairs, we need... They're not even going where I want them to. We need end rods, we need both of the carpets. There we go. Okay, we're clear now. Chains, lanterns, and then we'll need paintings and all sorts of stuff. But this will be what we're going to start off with mainly. So, as we come inside of KFC... I think that it's light enough in here that it's not really a problem. So what we'll do is we'll rip up the floor and we will replace it with quartz bricks. Why quartz bricks? Because it looks very clean. That's it. And KFC is predominantly white and red. I mean, that's their whole deal. So quartz bricks are actually a perfect material. If you want to make it look homier, I would suggest a wood. If you want to make it look fancier, perhaps chiseled quartz. If you wanted to go mega fancy, I mean, maybe some, like, glazed terracotta, but then that might look a little bit weird. I mean, is there some sort of, like, millionaires KFC that I don't know about? I don't know. Maybe. Where all of the chickens have names, and it's kind of like a seafood restaurant where you can, like, pick a chicken out of a pen, and then it's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be eating you. And I've never been to a restaurant like that, but I know that exists, and I don't like the sound of it. Choosing your food seems a little bit too dark for me, so there we go. That's that half of the floor filled in, and there's an important distinction between this half of the restaurant and the opposite half. So I'm going to take, I've got grey concrete because I can just, grab it. So from the doorway here, I want to create a split, and I want to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grey concretes here. Gap of 1, red concrete, gap, red concrete. Extend the red concretes up, like this, and then extend the left side here back by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think we'll actually make it 6, and then I want to say 6, and I think that we can just connect it to this back wall here, and then that will give us enough walk room back here. So what you can then do, and first I'm just going to grab the quartz bricks. So I'm just going to dig out the entire floor inside here just whilst I still have access to it. Going to replace this using the quartz bricks. And then we're going to extend red concrete up like so. I mean, it might even be better. No, I think it's fine actually to leave the grey in. And then we're just going to seal this room off. This is a toilets. That doesn't sound right. It's a toilets. These are the toilets. So here, and then we're going to dig the rest of this floor out, and this is where the employees would be cooking, and serving, and eating. I'd be doing a lot of eating if I worked at a fast food place or any food place. I think I'd just I'd probably be in this particular back portion away from the customers, eating all of the chicken. So just gonna dig out all of this, and we can replace it using the quartz. Yeah, I don't think that we've made a... Yeah, we've got 3 rows to work with back here, so that should be just fine. So we'll get all of this. We'll lay out the structure a little bit more, although we are running out. We'll actually work on the kitchen afterwards, as a matter of fact. But it's nice to have all of the floor put in, and we've kind of like separated at least this in half, which is good. So the next thing that we want to do is we kind of just want to devise a system where we're going to be placing tables. So just next to the door, like right here, as you walk in and turn to the right, I want a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 red concrete. Gap of 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 red concrete. Perfect. And then we're going to have basically just tables and chairs. And I kind of want them laid out in such a way that there's a single table and a double table. And I want there to be end rods in front of the tables, or in front of the chairs. And then the tables are made out of alternating red and white. So just like this. Then leaving a gap of 2 between the tables. So, I mean, we could even... Okay, so there is a gap of... 3, 4, 5, 6. There is a gap of 6 between the red concretes, right? So, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then in this row, it actually lines up with the counter, so that's perfect. So here, we would have another row of 4 red concrete, a gap of 2, and then another row of 4 red concrete. And then that way you can actually, like, navigate the restaurant around. And then if you wanted to, you can place the... seating in such a way that it's like opposite to the opposite side. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining this, but hopefully it should become obvious what I've just done there. And you might like that a little bit better. And the carpets will not like the carpets will like be opposite each other as well. So it just looks a tad little bit more interesting, I think, instead of just like having just having a mirror, essentially. Along this back wall, we need the smooth quartz slabs, and we're actually going to have it attached to the back wall. It's going to be like along the grey concrete, and we're going to leave a gap of 2 between the toilets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gap of 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and again that kind of mirrors the seating situation. And then I think that it's alright just to have kind of like end rods every other row. And then for these, because there's a lot of white involved, I'm going to make all of the seats just red carpet, just like this. But I'm not happy with the light situation. I would like there to be a tad little bit more light. There's not really a good place to, like, there's not an even way to place lighting in this place, though. So, what I've considered is we can take this middle window, and either side of it, we can place chains extending down from the ceiling, leading... Okay, and again, you know, this is all convoluted, meaning, you know, too in-depth, really, and a little bit muddy. So a little bit difficult, but basically we take the middle of the window, we'll have chains that kind of just sit either side, and then we'll see if we can just have and then maybe what we'll do is we'll line them up with the end of the tables here, and the ends of the end table here, and then we'll leave the gap of 2 again and have it here, and then perhaps we could have it line up with the end of the tables here as well. Hopefully, this is all making sense. So here, here, here. And then we've got 4 sets. Or, alternatively, you could just have them on the ends. But anyway, we're hanging lanterns from them. I only want 1 row of chain. 2 row, I think, would be too low. 2 row, too low. And I think that this would be just fine. If you think it looks a little bit too clogged in here, if you think it looks a little bit too messy, feel free to change it. So here and here. I mean, alternatively, you can even make like additional booths back here as well. So like you could have like a corner table like here, for instance. Like if you wanted to shake things up a little bit, like I don't think you'd really get... Like, I guess you could just extend this across here as well. And then we could still maintain... So, like, you'd be able to get, like, an extra seat here. Like, if you just wanted to change things up a little bit, I mean, that's more than possible. So, I'll just, like, kind of, like, leave that to your imagination. Like, if you... And you can still navigate everywhere, so that's fine. I want to place pictures, kind of just like about the place. Why do I want to place paintings? Because I just think that it kind of like makes things a little bit nicer and a little bit brighter. I'm using a collage of paintings, so I'm just going to use... Well, that doesn't really work. That's fine. Just a collage of paintings. It doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to particularly look like anything. We can even... By the way, along the back, something I did consider is we could, basically, just above the paintings, well, that's a little bit above the paintings, isn't it? Above the paintings, we could have natural light come in via smaller windows, and that's also like a very strong possibility. I mean, that looks just fine to me as well. We can have bins in here, which can be made out of cauldrons and trapdoors. We can decorate the area with food, which requires item frames and signs. I don't know what else I'm missing. I think that I'm good unless we place more paintings here and here. Yeah, maybe we'll even have some more paintings about the place as well. Oh, they're here, but I need a solid block. There we go. So cauldrons can be used in lieu of bins, whether you want to have one or perhaps double upon them and have two. I like one, just kind of like here and about. Item frames kind of like in front, like we can have item frames and we can have pots as drinks. We don't have pots on us, so we'll add that later. But this can be added. This can have chicken, this can have potatoes in it, all that sort of stuff. We can have like a couple of special menu items, like behind where we have this, the sign of KFC, like you can have one piece for, you know, £2 and 3 pieces for blah, 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 blah. Like we can have promotions and we'll place chicken inside of here. We can have the paintings, as I mentioned. So those can be, those are solid. Of course it is solid block here, here. And then whether we want to add, we've not used that painting yet. We have used that painting. We have used that painting and that one and that one. I know there's more and that one and that. Okay, that one will do. Perfect. So just to, again, like you can have promotions, we'll have the chicken in there. I also don't want to have too much stuff as well. But I just quite like, especially that bland back wall. Like as you walk in like this, I don't know. I mean, you could even have like, again, as I've mentioned, like you could have just fried chicken on the walls and stuff, and just like one, you know, just prices and stuff like that. You could even have more paintings. We'll you know, refine this a little bit later, but for now I'm pretty happy with how that has all sorted out, quite honestly. So the next thing that I kind of want to tackle, because we've got most of the materials for it and we can just grab what we need a little bit later on, we have the bathroom. So the bathroom, we need grey concrete for this. We need the specifically the upside down quartz stairs. Grab it from the inventory. We need cauldrons and doors. And basically, we're just going to have like in this corner here, cauldron, gap of 1, cauldron, gap of 1, cauldron. And we're going to have grey concrete separating all of the cauldron, probably 3 rows in general, in total. We need the oak trap doors. And we need to just place oak trap doors on top of the cauldrons. They look like toilets. Oak doors in front, they can be closed, some of them can be open, you can differentiate. And then across this wall here, I also want cauldrons. I'm going to have one on the end, a gap, and then another cauldron. And then upside down smooth quartz stairs just looks like a counter. And I also want to have kind of like a soap dispenser / dryer above where the cauldrons are. We can even have a couple of, I mean, just one lantern on top of the counter here will just do, and perhaps we can even add like an item frame here as well. We could put paper in it or something like that, but we'll grab the remaining materials needed a little bit later on. We want to have a door on this, of course, and then we want to have a couple of red concrete. By the way, this side door as well wants to exist. So I just want to fill the floor in here and just add the oak doors. So that's looking good. And again, we aren't 100% done with both of these areas, of course. Oh, and also the doors here. How could I forget that? So we want the doors here for the actual KFC. And all of these just need a few more materials to finish them off, but we're kind of just like laying the groundwork, some might say, for the rest of the build. And now we just have to do that exact same thing with the kitchen as well. So for the kitchen, we're just going to want to grab some grey concrete and some red concrete, and we need these stairs here. And we are going to the left of the toilet, we're going to find the 5th block. And we need the grey concrete for this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's here. We want a row of grey concrete that extends all the way from the ground, all the way up to the ceiling, which I'm realizing we should drop. So I'm going to add another row of smooth stone. I did say that this was a possibility. Another row of smooth stone here. And we're just dropping the ceiling just so that we don't have to make everything so tall, because I don't think that it's really necessary. Just like this. Perfect. So now that we have the row of grey in here, we then want to take the bottom and we want to place 2 upside down quarter stairs. So here and here. And then grey concrete on the end. 2 upside down stairs. 1, 2. Grey concrete on the end. Extend the grey concrete upwards here. Like this. And then the grey concretes are going to get all of the grey concretes we can extend backwards by 2 rows because these all serve some sort of purpose. Like I'll explain in a second. So when I say all of these, I mean there's only 2 compartments. So this is going to be a drinks machine and this is going to be like where they keep food. Like we can even add a couple of lanterns just here in this position, like in the middle row. This is where they keep food like ready to be served. So we're just going to have this. On the left here, we're also going to have smooth quartz stairs just across the top of these 2 areas. I think that we can just fill the back of this in, quite honestly, using grey concrete. Like it's, we don't need this open, but we do need this open. So I reckon we're going to have the middle here. We can have grey concrete or we can have sea lanterns. And then I want to place just slabs behind this. And there'll be item frames as well. So there'll be item frames here and this will just keep, and then we'll just keep chicken in this. And then along the back, I want to have this sequence of blocks, right? So I want to have, like in this corner, grey concrete, gap of 2, 4 grey concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I want a cauldron. And then actually a double cauldron would be just fine. Or maybe actually, maybe, we have, yeah, I guess, okay, so we'll just have a count space of 3, double cauldron, there'll be a giant freezer here, and then we have the door, so we could even have like something else here as well, like we could even keep the freezer here, and we could have more counter space, or we could just have like a load of shulker boxes, kind of like, up here, but just where we have the drive-through window, I just want to add 2 rows of grey concrete as well. So either like a row of grey concrete perhaps, and then a row of smooth quartz slabs just in front, or you know, so just something similar to, or maybe just like, yeah, maybe like smooth quartz slabs here, and then yeah, maybe grey concrete and smooth quartz slabs maybe, or just like grey concrete. I don't know, something similar to that would be just fine. And then along the counter space as well for the actual like where the cashiers would be and stuff, we just want to have a couple of smooth quartz stairs. So we're just going to leave a gap of 2, smooth quartz stairs, gap of 2, smooth quartz stairs. Oh, in addition to that, I realize there's a lot of O's. There's a lot of, oh, we've got to do this, and then this, and then this. I'm sorry, but I don't know, maybe I've got ADHD or something. So, actually, it's not, it's the fact that there's just so many little details to remember and to add. So, we also want to have kind of like a, how do I explain it? Like a menu just above where the counter space is. So, like, you can pick off the menu, and we'll have like item frames in it, and we'll have like signs as well. So we'll just have signs and item frames, and the signs, obviously I'm not filling the signs in as current, but you know, feel free to, you know, do it yourself. Just add chicken in there, potatoes, desserts, you know, whatever, the crushums, you can add whatever. I might even be tempted to fill this little chunk in and just have like this little side area here, by the way. And then I think we're rapidly approaching, and then I don't know whether to make this smooth stone, because it seems weird that we've just got like rows of just red concrete, and then just, yeah, I think that we'll just turn that, either that or turn the whole roof into red concrete. Also a possibility, by the way. I mean, you can do what you like. Here, I just want it to be consistent throughout the build. I'm just nitpicking and looking for little things that we just need to change. For the drinks machine, whilst we still have it, red concrete wants to go here on the right. Blue will go on the left. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we need to grab some new materials now, because we are kind of like we're stretching the very limit stretching the very limit of what we can get out of this. So we're going to dump most of these materials. We might have to re-grab some of the same ones, but we're going to grab what we need to finish off the inside of the build. So I'll be back in just a second once I've grabbed those, and I'll show you what they all are. Okay, so I think that I have managed to round up all of the materials that I just need to finish off the build. But you know me, I've probably forgotten a couple here and there. So we're going to grab bread, cooked chicken, potatoes, flower pots, tripwire hook, paper, weighted pressure plates, lever or lever, and glass pane. So basically all of the food stuff is for the walls, for the item frames. So bread, cooked chicken, potatoes, the same again. Like, these are just to fill up the item frames, just to like promotional menu items, and it just makes this look better. And any sort of, like, whenever you see an item frame just here, like, obviously cooked chicken should probably be the most predominant thing in the item frames, but I guess you never know, who knows. We want to add a couple of flower pots here and there. These simply look like drinks. That's pretty much all there is to it, just like left on the side and what have you. We can have weighted pressure plates next to the tills. We can have flower pots as well, again, just drinks. Also, I've already realized that I've forgotten a material. We need the blue concrete as well. I knew that I'd forget something. It wouldn't be a TSMC tutorial if you didn't forget something. So we can place blue concrete here, just next to the red. And this is basically just kind of like a fancy looking Pepsi machine. So a couple of flower pots, levers above. I want them kind of like pointed downwards like this. To the right of this, I kind of just want to add a little bit of a glass pane. So this is kind of like at the top and kind of like just to the side, and just so that you can reach in and you can grab. And we'll probably have, like, on the back, we'll have the same sort of layout as well. We could even put on the opposite side if we wanted to. So let's say like up here. Perfect. And then we can fill this again, like just some chicken in there as well, just like, kind of like keep him warm before it gets served. We can have just like this drive-through window. We can have like a flower pot, and we can have like a chest. But I'm jumping the gun a little bit. We can even have like chests here as well. But I'm jumping the gun a little bit because we've kind of like done this is kind of like the actual customer area, right? We've done all of this. I'm pretty happy with how all of this is laid out. But I also want to just move into the bathroom. And I want to place tripwire hooks above the sinks, paper inside the item frame, and then I'm quite happy with this as well. So I'm very, very happy with the bathroom. So that's the bathroom done. That is the customer area done. We've almost done this back area as well. Like, kind of like, this is kind of like the cook area. Well, no, kind of like the serving area. So like the serving and ordering area, we've kind of like done the drive-through, we've done the drinks. So just along the back here, we just need to add like in between the counters, so maybe some smokers, and then maybe some blast furnaces on top, so some different kinds of cooking implements. It might even be an idea to add some stairs. Again, it wouldn't be a TSMC video. Maybe above these, kind of like, looks like an extractor fan. Maybe even it supersedes the left and right sides here. And I mean, yeah, that'd be just fine. We want tripwire hooks above where we have the cauldrons, some weighted pressure plates back here, some flower pots. You could even have item frames as well. And I mean, you could, again, it depends how much detail you want to get into these boards, but you could have item frames with, I like the red dye and the green dye because it looks like lettuce and tomato and stuff like that. And we can even have like, this is what the spruce trap doors are for, and sugar box, chests. Like, we can have, say, like above the sink area, maybe even above this area here. No, we can't place them, but maybe, okay, so maybe we just have like, kind of like this, and it's spread out a little bit, but we can just have like storage just above these areas, and it just looks sort of good. We can have a fridge, so that's pillar quartz block and stone buttons at the end here, so like a fridge freezer, and this can be like 3 rows high. We can have buttons here, and that can have I mean, you could even add like drawers to it, or you know, the appearance of drawers using like smooth quartz stairs. So like it just kind of looks like a fridge freezer of some sort, and that's where stuff can be kept. And I mean, we're kind of getting to the point where it's a bit crowded back here, and I'm quite happy with this. I mean, I think that this looks pretty good. I mean, this could even go all the way up to the top. It just looks like something that way, you know. We can still get in and out. There's still enough room, and honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy with how this looks. I think that this looks quite realistic. I've tried to go for like a realistic sort of vibe in here, and honestly, I mean, I'm really happy with it. I hope you guys are too. I think that we've finished it, so I'm going to clean up outside the build, and then we can take a good look at this and see how it all looks. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what your modern KFC will look like once it's been 100% fully completed. I really love this build. This may be the best fast food restaurant that I have made in recent history. I really love the look, the vibe. I hope that you guys do as well. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very much. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing and clicking that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. And if you do want to make anything else by me, check out the City Builds playlist. That will be in the card system, the description below, and the top of the comment section for more. So, thank you so much for watching, everybody, as we tour our KFC. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good. I want to hit the back door. Good. Bye.